Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Big Bros podcast. My name is Ilan, and I'm joined by my lovely friend and co-host, Jeremy. How are we?
Feeling good, mate. Did have a little bit of a big one over the weekend, and I'm feeling it a little bit now, as you guys can hear in the croaky voice. It's been a big week, There's been some music events, went to Travis Scott as well, so the voice is still recovering, but we're getting there, and we're keen to dive into this. Hopefully you guys can just bear with me for today with my voice.
Were you one of those violent individuals at the Travis Scott concert going at it in the mosh?
Violent is a stretch. Did I enjoy myself and shake my hips and jump around with my mates? Yes, I did, but no individuals were harmed and only good time was had.
That sounds awesome, Jeremy. I'm very glad to know that you weren't one of the violent hooligans in the mosh pit. But how about you introduce the topic of this week's episode?
Yeah, well, we're signaling all towards summer over the last couple of weeks with our episodes, and that's what we're going to dive into today. How can we level up for summer? What are our tips for making sure you are primed for a big summer and an enjoyable one? And look, I'll kick it off with something that I learned very interestingly over the weekend, and that was I went and got a facial done for the first time in my life at a beauty clinic, and I didn't know what to expect, but really all they did was put some stuff on my face that made my face sting a little bit and made me feel a little bit glowy afterwards. Nothing was extracted or popped or anything like that, which is what I thought they did. Maybe they do at some clinics, but no, I just felt a bit glowy on my face and a little bit tingly. And the girl that was treating me said that you got to invest in a good sunscreen to start off with. And I said, what's wrong with using the banana boat, slapping on the banana boat or the Cancer Council type sunscreen that you get at the chemist, you chuck it on your body, you chuck it on your face, it should all do the same trick. And she said, absolutely not. That is like getting a 5-in-1 body wash, shampoo, conditioner, and throwing it on your body and using the same product for every part of your body. You need to invest in a good facial sunscreen. So tip number one to level up for summer, I know I need to do it myself, is get yourself a good facial sunscreen that isn't just the banana boat that you'll slap across your thighs.
Yeah, and I guess my next tip is for anyone who is working a 9 to 5 during the summer, and it can be quite upsetting. Like, you're still going to have time off, but there's no reason why you can't wake up an hour earlier because the sun comes up earlier in summer, and, go for a walk or try and expose yourself to some sun, because at least, you're at least enjoying the sun whilst it's out. And of course you have to work, but you'll be more energized as well. The fact that you're going for a walk right after you wake up, it's almost like a little small morning routine, even if it's a 20, 30-minute walk, just being able to be exposed in the sunshine. I think it's an excellent thing to do. And it's usually easier to wake up earlier when it is summer because, it's already light out. It's not cold. So make use of that. Also, another tip is, I know I've got some friends who they have the ability to come into work earlier. So instead of having to work 9 to 5, they can work 7 to 3. And for them, it's a game changer because once they finish work, they still have the entire kind of late arvo, early evening to do what they want. And it's better than finishing work off at 5. So if that option is afforded to you, I'd probably recommend that you go for it because there's still tons of things open. You can go for a swim after if you live next to a beach. You can still utilize the sun. You can go to a park. There's so many things you can do. So I think that's a cool tip. If you can get into work earlier, definitely do so.
Definitely. Now, if you've got parties as well, I'm an advocate for looking good, feeling good, look good. Get a gym session in before you go to an event, before you go to a party. I think it's just another way, as a guy especially, it's a way that we feel primed for an event. You know what I mean? I mean, for girls, it might be something different, like whether it's your makeup routine, listening to music as you're getting ready, or, watching a Netflix TV show in the background of getting ready. I know that's what my sister does and thoroughly enjoys it. We've all got our little ways of feeling primed, feeling good about ourselves before we're going out, before we're hitting the town, before we're going to a party. And for guys, we know that there is no greater feeling than getting in a good pump session before you go out. You feel good, you look good, and you're ready to go. So that is one of my key tips for pre-party priming.
And no legs will be hit as well in that session.
Oh, never. I mean, you're doing your stomping and walking and jumping around anyways at your parties. So, look, just forego the legs just like you normally do during the week as well.
Four sets of buys, 4 sets of tries, and a bit of chest, and you're good to go.
You're done. You're done. Make sure you have a good, nutritious meal as well. Get the vegetables in. They make you feel full for longer, high protein, and a bunch of hydrolyte as well. You know, that stuff is a game changer before you start drinking as well as after you drink. I mean, it's often something that we just do afterwards as a bit of a hangover remedy the next day. But if you can get some hydrolyte in before you get drinking as well, that'll set you up for success.
I can't stress this next point enough. If you've got a Christmas function on with your work colleagues, this is not a party. Please treat it as a professional context. Yes, be a little bit more friendly, enjoy yourself, have a couple sherbets if you want, but you are still in a professional environment, whether you like to admit it or not. I've heard too many horror stories from, kind of acquaintances, some friends who maybe when they were 18 and 19, they had that first casual job where they just let themselves go a little bit too much. They spoke about topics that they probably shouldn't have and would have been more appropriate with a close group of friends, not some colleagues. Enjoy those events though. I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy them. You shouldn't be a little bit more personable than you would in a work context. But if this is your first Christmas function, first event where you're hanging out with colleagues, be on the lookout. Be aware of what you say and just present yourself as professionally as possible, because they're better to get good at these events early on when you haven't had much experience with alcohol and those kind of Christmas events, because you're going to have so many more of them. So make it a habit to present yourself professionally, be someone that people like and you have a good impression. Don't embarrass yourself. I can't stress that point enough.
People remember, I mean, you think that they're drunk or high or whatever they are at these Christmas events, but people will still remember the downfalls of that event or what happened. So don't, overindulge. People are going to be judging you. Whatever you do, don't bloody go and sleep with any of your work colleagues either. That is probably the worst thing you can do, especially if you're fresh to the scene. Leave good, lasting impressions on those people. And when it comes to networking, that leads me into my next point, and that is have some good openers for yourself. Have some good lines to go to when you get talking to people, because firstly, if you can go and chat to people around a bar, around an event that you don't know, you are going to just have this aura about you and attract more people to that scene. People are going to be drawn to you, and you're going to just meet new people and have good lasting conversations, hopefully as well. But if you can get a couple of go-to liners ready for yourself, that can save you the stress of what do you say in that moment if there is someone that you want to go up to and speak to. It could be something as silly as what they had for breakfast. It could be something as nuanced as maybe something that they're wearing, which is maybe a little bit less pre-planned. But, just having something to go to can really set you up for making better connections, having better conversations with people, because you never know who you're going to meet and what connections might form. And that might be something of a romantic sense or something just of a friendly sense as well.
Your summer fling is not the love of your life. Now, on very rare occasions, it might be. But for anyone who's just finished school, they're going to schoolies, they're going to Gold Coast, going down to the peninsula, and you meet that special someone, enjoy it. Have fun. You've just finished school, you've just finished exams, you're having this new experience. And it might be the typical summer fling. You're having drinks with them on a picnic rug.
We've all been there. We all think that's our love of our life in that moment, don't we?
Exactly. But as soon as February concludes and, it starts getting a little bit more chilly,
the what are we conversation comes about.
Exactly. Oh, it sounds like you're quite familiar with this, Jeremy. So,
we've all been there before. I mean, 24 years of age now, we've all had a summer fling. So, something to relate to.
And exactly. And if you could have told yourself one bit of helpful advice, what would it be to navigate that situation?
Treat it as any other type of fling that you would have at any stage in the year. I think it's very easy to get lost in the whole narrative of summer and flings, and you've got sunsets that are romantic, you've got ice cream dates, you've got events, you've got sunshine, and it's all this dopamine, it's all this serotonin, but your feelings will also but your feelings don't change. Like your feelings that you feel in summer would also be the same type of feelings that you'd feel in winter when you get closer to a person. So like, think about, you're just getting closer to that person. It doesn't matter what time of the season it is, because you're getting closer to a person, you're spending more time with them, you're investing in them, they're investing in you. Things are still going to develop like they normally would at any stage in the year. So be mindful of that. Actually think about that. Use your head. Don't think with other parts of your body, and communicate as you would normally if you are talking to someone, dating someone.
But ultimately, do what you want and have fun.
Have fun, but just don't be deceitful, and be upfront and honest like you always should be. Like, even if it is just a summer fling and that is all you want, if you just want to be casual during that time period with someone, voice that, because the worst thing that can happen is they say, you know what, I don't want that, and they walk away. That is the absolute worst thing that can happen. Best case scenario, they're all on the same page as you and they want that too. So, then you've had that transparency, you've had that conversation.
Jeremy, let's say there's a party and I don't want to feel too bloated. I also don't want to consume that many calories. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 drink options, and you're going to tell me which one is the best to accommodate my dietary and, fitness goals.
Go on.
Number 1 is seltzers. Number 2 is beers. Number 3 is wine. Number 4 is something that's spirit-based.
Spirit-based. Well, look, I reckon if you're having it depends on the type of shift, doesn't it? Like if you're having a day of drinking, like you're going to an event and you know that you want to be drinking a fair bit during the day or throughout the day, beers can be quite heavy. It's a lot of liquid. It's great to start off with one, but not something you would continue with. I would normally like to go for something lighter, like a mixed spirit-based drink, like a vodka lime soda, as basic as that is. It's great for your fitness goals if you still want to be a bit more inclined with that. It's low calorie and it doesn't bloat you up like a beer does. And wine, wine just knocks me out. So like I'll never be choosing wine if I'm having a few drinks during the day. Love a wine if I'm out on, maybe a dinner or something.
But surely you go for white wine because it's summer.
Yeah, probably, unless it's a more romantic occasion, but that doesn't happen too often.
I'm sure. I reckon another thing that is something that we are all guilty of, it's documenting too many things on our phones. And I think it's an important thing. We want to document things, but don't overdo it. There's so many cool events on, and yeah, you want to, savor the memory. But that doesn't always have to be done by getting your iPhone out or your Android. And Oz Open, I think of. My Instagram feed is full of people just posting at Rod Laver Arena because I got the cool tickets to go see Medvedev versus Nadal. And
won't be this year, unfortunately.
I know. But in any case, there's nothing wrong with documenting it. But there's also the people that after a night out, they have like 10 stories of the same event. I feel like you just didn't enjoy yourself at that point.
Well, it's like Boiler Room over the weekend. It's like sometimes I feel like people feel the need to post at a certain event to say, I was there, because it is seen as cool in this community. Whether this is a Melbourne thing, whether this is an Australian thing, I'm not sure. I feel like as humans, we just like to be seen. We like to follow crowds and we want to be noticed. And I feel like that can be, it can come across as cringe a lot of the time as well.
We'll delude ourselves into thinking, I really want to go to this event. But truthfully, a lot of times we want to go to these events because we want to show other people that we're cool and we enjoy these events and that, we're cool like everyone else who likes to go to these sort of kind of events. And the thing is, the problem there is sometimes we delude ourselves into thinking we actually enjoy them when we don't. And we could be spending our money somewhere else.
You can do both. You can document an event and have fun at the event. I think it's just about, like anything in life, excesses. Are you going to excesses with it? So like you said, of course, those people that will document 4, 5, 6 videos about, the same event that they were at, the one event that they were at, and they're just like flooding the stories. Oh my God, I need to put this up. Oh my God, I need to put this up. It's like, do you need to put up all of that? And also, why are you trying to put up all of that? Are you like, is it a marketing thing? You're trying to market yourself there. Are you trying to be, is it all like, look at me? Or, is it just purely out of enjoyment? Are we reading into it? But I think it's more so for me about the people that I'm with in that moment. Like if you're pulling out your phone constantly, taking videos, taking photos constantly, the people around you just, I don't think would really enjoy that. Like I know the most fun I have is in the moments when, people aren't really pulling out their phones all that much. We're having great conversations, we're bantering, we're laughing, and you don't even really look at your phone or watch to see the time. Like you don't notice the time. So when I think about this point, I think maybe more so about just like the moment of that moment with the people you're with, as opposed to the documentation of it to post online. I think, it's more so about, if you are posting online, I think great, within reason. No one likes to see 10 slides of the same thing, but I think you can do a bit of both. I think you can document and still have fun. I don't know about not documenting anything at all, because I like to document a little bit.
I don't think there's anything wrong with documenting it. All I'm saying is there's a lot of people out there who will pretend that they like these specific events and they'll document it to try and fit in.
Yeah.
And that's not me having a go at these people. I'm just saying sometimes I just have the feeling that there's a lot of people who pretend to enjoy these events and want to pretend by just documenting it online. But you can usually tell the people who genuinely enjoy those events as well. It's like you can't really fake enjoyment.
Exactly. And
that's
I think
kind of more my point. I think if you want to document and, post 1 or 2 stories on social media, be my guest. I think that's a cool thing to do. But I don't know. I just wonder how many people truly do enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I think a prime example are those like, rave events that we see on the weekend, because like in Melbourne, it's very much seen as like cool to go to these things. But then you rock up and you see a lot of people don't actually seem like they enjoy themselves there. They just look gacked off their head. They're all wearing their speed sunglasses and their wife pleaser singlets. People just don't seem that competent in those moments. They just seem like they are truly just off their rocker when it comes to like being on drugs, being on alcohol. And to your point, like you wonder like, what is their intentions to going to these events? Are they going for an excuse to just really lose themselves in drugs and alcohol, or are they doing it because it is seen as cool to go to these events in the eyes of the Melbourne community and wanting to be seen, wanting to be noticed? Or do they go purely for the enjoyment of the music? And I think going back to your point about documentation, you can see that in a lens of social media, just in terms of how people might document a certain event. Like what kind of seems to be a bit like staged, or look at this, or I guess just disingenuous, versus what actually seems to be a bit more real in terms of the documentation.
I reckon buy multiple pairs of sunnies as well for these events. You don't want to be taking your prescription sunglasses that you paid a few $100s for.
Yeah.
I think it's an obvious point, but you can go down to any 7-Eleven and buy a cheap pair of sunnies that can literally be broken that day. What do you reckon?
100%. I've had there was a story that I can share to this was coming out of COVID. There was a party in the summer, and it was like one of those, again, like first parties that everyone's going to, and everyone's excited to see each other because no one's really been going out and seeing each other. And I was wearing my pair of Ray-Bans, which were real Ray-Bans. They weren't cheapies, and hadn't worn them much. I'd probably only worn them like really 3 to 4 times because they were new and I hadn't been going out. It was just post-COVID. And I had them on my chest, just resting on the collar of my t-shirt. And I went to hug someone and they cracked, and they snapped and they cracked, and it was a dead pair of sunglasses, and it was just not going to be something that I could wear again. And in that moment, I tried to do my best to cover it up so that the person wouldn't feel embarrassed that, this happened. It was my fault. It wasn't their fault for causing the snap. It was my fault for wearing them there in the first place. But as soon as it happened, I just took them and put them in my pocket and tried to disguise it as best as I could. And from that day, I learned that never again will I wear a good pair of sunglasses to a party, to a rave, to anything like that, because even if you do keep them on your head and you're not an idiot like me and you wear them on your chest, people will always rip them off your head and want to wear them, especially if they're a nice looking pair of sunglasses. People will always do it, whether it's like a flirting tactic or people being friendly and fun with you. They'll always rip sunglasses off your head and pop it on their face. And when you retrieve them, you see scratches. You see they're not in the right condition. They're greased up. They're disgusting. So I learnt my lesson. Go to Cotton On. Go to wherever, supermarket, 7-Eleven, eBay, Temu. You can buy a plethora of sunglasses for an absolute cheap price that will do the job and still add to that flavor of rave culture and party culture.
And if you don't like rave culture, you don't like all these kind of cool events, do what you want. You know,
Yeah.
Such a perfect time. I want to do more hikes in the summer. I think there's so many cool things you can do. Literally, if you go an hour away from Melbourne CBD, that's something I'm going to be planning on doing. I'm not traveling anywhere. I'm other than going to Sydney over New Year's. Like, I'll be mainly in Victoria. So I'm going to be making use of our beautiful nature and our greenery and hopefully getting out and about, maybe go to some beaches and really trying to enjoy my off days. Make it a habit. Schedule those beach days in, I reckon. And to avoid heat stroke, I think I'm just going to return back to the point. Really, really hydrate yourself. Get some electrolytes. I think electrolytes are becoming a little bit more trendy. So just try and discern the fake ones full of tons of sugar versus the ones that are a little bit more healthier for you. But I think drink more water than you usually would. Heat stroke is a bad thing. Remember, I was once in Thailand. I think I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I was just enjoying way too much fun in the sun. But I had my rashi on.
Yeah.
But I think
Rashi on, far
I was
out.
like 7 or 8 year old Ilan.
The forbidden rash vest.
Yeah. Actually, by the way, if you get burnt, there is no shame in wearing a rashi.
No, there is.
No, there is not.
There is.
There is no shame.
You can't be wearing a rash vest.
I don't
in
care,
my
mate.
honest opinion.
I don't care, mate.
I think rash vests are forbidden from the age of probably 7 onwards.
I don't care. Make rash guards cool again.
You can start it off then.
You know what? We can make it some Big Bros merch.
It won't be a rash vest.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I'll get you. I'll convince you. But I think, seriously, if you get burnt and you have an event where you're maybe going swimming or you're out in the sun, there is no shame. What's worse?
Not a rash vest. Just wear a fucking t-shirt. Don't listen to Ilan's advice.
No.
Don't wear a rash vest.
No, make them cool again.
Wear a t-shirt or wear a singlet and just put sunscreen on.
But if you are wearing something, make sure it's white. And
White?
Yeah.
Why?
Reflects the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
Don't
not
be
attracting if you're wearing something black.
Yeah. If you've got a day event in the sunshine and you're wearing black, that's a very brave decision. You're going to be sweating your balls off probably. But look, and yeah, you'll probably see, I'm thinking about sweat patches as well and things like that. So yeah, I think with that as well, invest in some good clothing to wear.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, did we? But
Not
get
yet.
some linen shirts.
Yeah.
Some really nice linen shirts. And don't need it, break the bank for them. Yeah, like you can go to Country Road and spend quite a bit of money. But you also don't need to go there. You can go to Uniqlo. You can go to Cotton On.
Yeah.
You can go to a range of places. And I think the linen shirts, they have so many great purposes. Like you can wear them to a fancy event. You can wear them to a nice fancy dinner. You can wear them to something a little bit more low key.
Yeah.
But there's so many uses for it. And I feel like sometimes it's worth investing, especially if you're going to any sort of Euro summer.
Yeah.
Something I probably might want to invest in, I think I spoke about this last week, is just getting some nice shorts. I can't be wearing the same shorts I am now.
No. Time to level up the clothing game for summer. I think I'm definitely now an advocate of investing a little bit more money than what I might have done when I was a lot younger into clothing. Like when I was fresh out of school, like I would be content with the Cotton On Uniqlo type products when it came to, the nicer clothes. But now I think, when you're in your mid-20s or whatever, I think, if you can afford it, try invest in that nicer linen, that nicer type of attire, because it is seen and the quality will help you as well feel good as part of that look good, feel good type mantra and mentality as well, along with you getting your pumps, of course.
Exactly. And make sure you iron out those linen
Yes,
shirts.
good tip.
Wrinkles look terrible on them.
Yes.
Especially on linen.
Bloody get an
I've learned
iron.
the hard way.
And if you don't have an iron, have a shower without your without the fan on in the shower, so that the room steams up, and then leave the shirt in there so that you have that steam hitting your shirt to decompress all the wrinkles in your shirt, and it just helps with flattening out those wrinkles.
Is that like a well-known tip?
I don't know. At least it's a tip that I did and have done occasionally. Like if I'm traveling and I can't find an iron board or I can't be fucked, I will just, have a shower, make sure the room is a bit steamy, and leave the shirt in there to try and decompress some wrinkles. So, because, in suitcases, your shirts can get very crinkly. So,
Packing cells, mate.
Yeah.
Packing cells, invest in them. They're the
They
best
are
thing.
good. Yeah. But don't go out wearing shirts that are wrinkled. You will level up in your dress sense if you go from wearing a wrinkled shirt to an actually nice ironed out shirt. Like, it's those little things that people notice.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, look good, feel good. It's for yourself.
Exactly.
On that note, Jeremy, do you have anything else to say?
Have fun. Enjoy the process of getting summer shredded if you are doing it as well.
I'm going to get on the bulk, I reckon.
Get on the bulk by all means. You know what? It's a fair thing. Like, why do we only dedicate summer to shredding and winter to bulking? Fuck it. If you want to bulk during summer, bulk during summer. If you want to shred during winter, shred during winter. Whatever your goals are, I just hope you stick to them and employ the habits to achieve them. And have a good mix of, sticking to your fitness and health goals whilst also being not a degenerate, but someone that is able to have fun and get silly over the summer.
Love it. See you guys.
Bye.